all in all, the investment in zero-party and first-party data is really a preparation for the cookieless world. Invest in first and zero-party data collection. And the reason for that is that your customers are seeking something, right? They don't always know what that is. And this concept of the digital seeker rather than a customer was pioneered by our CEO, Raj Kedadatta, in his book, The Digital Seeker. And the idea is that a seeker, a customer comes to a website, they know what they want, they know the product they want to purchase, and it's a bottom funnel, mid funnel journey, right? It's pretty simple. This person knows what they want. But majority of customers or seekers, as the definition goes, may or may not be in the market for your product or service, but they are willing to consider it in exchange for a good experience. And to be customer-centric, to be seeker-centric, the best thing you can do is understand the true motivation of each individual customer. So your customers are seeking something, and that something is not always quote unquote personalization. These two scenarios are wildly different. And the one on the left is maybe more focused on retention and loyalty marketing, while the one on the right is more focused on acquisition. But if we look at that left example for a sec, right? Zero and first party data is data that customers are willing to share with a brand that has earned their trust. And as that brand continues to develop a relationship with the customer, so that customer is more and more willing to share data and information about themselves. And so that deepens this relationship with the brand over time. Conversely, third-party data marketing is very different. And there's a reason why a lot of browsers are beginning to prevent third-party data tracking on the internet. And increasingly, this is not such a sustainable way to market to customers, although there are ways to use your first and zero-party data to inform acquisition marketing in very smart ways as well. I want to talk about a Dutch brand called MyJewellery. They use zero-party data in a very interesting way to build relationships with customers. So firstly, MyJewellery does a ton of feedback seeking surveys of their customers, and they actually built a style profile test for customers to basically choose between certain materials for jewelry, styles, and looks. And these tests are then stored at their customer profile and inform not just the marketing teams, right, who are able to boost open rates by using that type of zero-party data in their emails, but also merchandising teams to know what items to stock and where, and what types of customers prefer certain styles over others. So an interesting example of zero-party data. But all in all, the investment in zero-party and first-party data is really a preparation for the cookieless world, right? Today, Safari has already blocked cookie tracking after 24 hours. They don't store those cookies anymore on even on first-party websites if you're tracking your own customers. There are ways around this, and the reason why there are ways around this is because it's not designed to prevent brands from engaging with their own customers. It's designed to prevent a brand from engaging with customers at the store across the street. And so the idea of moving from client-side to server-side tracking is the first sustainable step to managing and maintaining your first-party data tracking. The second is to expand that zero-party data collection effort as well. Like we saw in that earlier example, customers who do trust their brand, who are interested in those products, are more than happy to share information about their preferences and their interests. And that allows a brand to send them messages only once a week or twice a week, depending on their preferences. And then what content should be in those communications can also be informed by what you know about your customers. So all of this is made a lot easier with number 3, which is unifying your customer data to make it easily actionable for marketers. So once we do ingest this first and zero-party data in a sustainable way, being able to unify that at the customer level allows brands to really take the next step in using that data for personalization. But personalization is a buzzword, as we all know, that has been used in sort of a vague context to mean many different things. And what I'm here today to say is that convenience is the sort of focus rather than personalization for consumers. If you look at the chart on the right, you can see there's at least 5 different ways that US adults are interpreting that term, personalization. All the way on the left, you have customization, right? And that is defined by a consumer as saying it means it's something suited to me exactly, so that I'm more likely to be interested in what they're selling. Interesting choice of words there. Seems to be very focused on this idea that I'm being targeted by a merchant who is trying to get me to buy what they have. All the way on the right, you have this definition of convenience, and that is sort of defined as meaning noticing how I shop and surf the internet and customizing advertising and shopping options to my preferences. So much more focused on the consumer there, which is interesting. And that chart on the left is maybe not surprising that over 9 in 10 consumers are more likely to choose a retailer based on convenience, and a third are significantly more likely to do so. So convenience is the type of personalization that we really want to drive. And quickly, I want to give an example of a customer that does this very well, or a brand that does this very well, a company called Sofology in the UK. They were recently acquired by DFS. It's a holding company of the largest furniture companies in the UK and Europe. And they link online and offline data in a very cool way to drive convenient customer experiences. So firstly, in-store, if you go into a Sofology location, there'll be an in-store rep that'll come up to you, and they have an iPad, and that iPad is linked directly to the customer profiles of anyone who comes in. So if you belong to the loyalty club, you're a member and you're registered online, they'll be able to look up your profile and what you've done and look up recommendations for you to give you this IRL, in real life, guided shopping experience that makes it easy for you to find items that you're interested in. On the other hand, those in-store transactions are also informing web and email channels to create a full omni-channel experience that's connecting with customers on their terms, using their preferred channels and using their preferred content and products as well. This initiative drives a ton of, obviously speaks for itself in terms of the results for open rates and click-through rates, which is the best metric for actual engagement with a product or with any sort of conversion call to action. But also in terms of generating new leads, in the first month, they saw over $300,000 worth of new leads come in just based on prioritizing first and zero-party data and linking that together to drive convenient experiences and just ease of use for the end customer. And actually, that concept of convenience, sort of break it down as speed plus relevance. So that relevance piece, right? Responding to customers' past behavior, right? Descriptive analytics, but also proactively presenting new pathways, new options and products and experiences that are relevant to them. That's the relevance piece, but also relevant in terms of channel. So customers are channel agnostic for the most part, right? When I engage with a major brand or even a small brand, I don't think about engaging with the email team versus the web team versus the social team. To me, I'm just engaging with that brand. And so the ability to deliver a consistent, relevant experience across all those channels is part of this as well. And finally, nearly half of all customers expect companies to respond faster than 4 hours. 12% are expecting response within 15 minutes or less. And that has changed over time, not just for customer service, but also for marketing, which retention marketing and customer service are increasingly tied at the hip here. Real time, we're moving towards a world where real time is starting to become an expectation of end consumers. So all of that sort of goes into that convenience thing. And once we have can create convenient customer experiences, it's really important then to let the customer, quote unquote, drive. And what do I mean by that? Well, firstly, in order to drive, right, you need some sort of fuel. And incentives do act as fuel for customer engagement. When we talk about incentives, this doesn't necessarily have to mean 10% off your next order, right? You can use data to provide incentives and rewards to customers that in unique ways. So, for example, convenience itself is a reward for customers. Replenishment campaigns, if you sell supplements or groceries, right? Rather than me having to go and remember to restock on items that I regularly purchase, when you can come to me and say, hi, we know this is your pantry, you bought it last time, here are some items that are on sale, can we replenish this for you? That's a value add for me as a customer. Back in stock notifications, so I don't have to continue coming back and checking the website to see if an item that I saw before is back in stock. Being able to sign up for notifications is a great reward, and it is building convenience into a relationship with a customer. Another one is insights, using the actual data and sharing that with customers. If any of you use Spotify, you might have seen their 2020 Unwrapped annual summary campaign. They did it in 2019 as well. It was a huge hit and generated a ton of word of mouth marketing on social platforms. All it is taking the data that they knew around customers, around what people are listening to say, hey, here was your favorite artist this year. Here's how you stacked up compared to all the other people listening to that artist in terms of other strange music that you listen to, or how unique you are as a listener, as well as how often, how much time you spent on the app. So those kinds of insights work for all sorts of things that are not just music. Even here on the right, there's an example of a grocery campaign, right? What was your favorite location, your favorite most frequently purchased item, points used or not used and redeemed, money saved. All those types of insights are great, and they're great to see, and they're fun and promote an interesting and personalized relationship with customers. And then, of course, you have your financial rewards, 5% off your next order, 10% off, which of course we all know and love those, but there are other things that you can do before offering discounts.